Hi guys, this is about bipolar disorder, as you probably know by now, and today I'm going to be talking about talking therapy and acupuncture with the needles, because this was part of the healing process. And yeah, so I did a video on CBT and how that was great, but it was only 6 hours, 6 sessions once a week with the NHS. It was free, it was fantastic, but it wasn't enough. So then there was this amazing company called the Riverside Counselling Service in Henley-on-Thames and around that area, and they assessed how much I was earning, and at the time I think it was very little, so they put me on the minimum, which I think was about £15 a session, which was amazing. Thank you for that. And I literally stayed with the wonderful Joanna, her name was, which is my name, which was a bit odd at first, for 6 months, once a week. And without that, I think it would have been a much, much, much slower healing process. We talked about all sorts of things, and near the beginning I would be doing all sorts of crying and just kind of releasing and kind of outpouring these things that I was feeling and these emotions that had come out through the bipolar episode and that experience, and you know, why I thought that basically I'd come to that point in the first place, and what it was like being a teacher for 4 years, and possibly, you know, the stresses of becoming a mother, and, you know, organising a wedding and getting married, and just, you know, there's all sorts that goes on in one's life, and I was one of those women that just tried to do it all, and even if things were difficult, I would just push on through and push on through and push on through, and I wasn't terribly good at matching my actual feelings and emotions with my expressing them. Does that make sense? So if I felt really bad about something or depressed about something, my expression of it would be like a tiny percentage of how I was actually feeling. So I would play things up, I suppose. I wouldn't, or do you say play things down? So anyway, I wasn't being open and expressive enough with the people in my life. So with Robin, my husband, he knew everything about me, but not to the correct degree that showed really what was going on in my life. But I remember that I was when things were getting bad, I was talking with my mum in the morning when I was dropping Heidi off with her, and she would take her to nursery before I would go off to work in the morning really early. I think I'd get in for about 7:30 to start work. I'd often cry because I'd be upset and not knowing how I would cope with the day or cope with a week, or how I'd deal with certain situations. And she would persuade me, you know, you can do this, Joanna, you can get through it, and everything's going to be okay, and all those lovely things that a mother says to you. But I think really it wasn't working for me. Life was coming to a kind of standstill, and I was feeling extremely blocked, and nothing I tried to do would really help. And that's when you just kind of blow a fuse and you have an episode. But anyway, again, I'm digressing. So therapy for me was a way of talking through my past, because I had done that as well when I was much younger, in my early 20s, but she was terrible. I still did it for 6 months, but she was terrible, and she would just sit there in silence. Whereas Joanna at this Riverside Counselling Service was amazing, and she would talk to me and she would help me through a sticky patch if I didn't know what to say, or she'd rephrase things for me. Whereas the other woman, she just was quiet and didn't. She had some other technique that wasn't working for me. Yeah, So unfortunately she had to go at 6 months, and Joanna went to start her work and she was moving to a different part of the country, so I had to say goodbye to her. But I think that was good, because I probably could have carried on, but I didn't need to. I need to stop therapy, and I need to see that with all that stuff that I'd learned in the 6 months of every week going to see her, of actually now putting it into action myself and living my life without her, and just kind of, yeah, all of those things that I'd learned, just starting to feel the effects of therapy and then just living. And she was amazing. So anyway, that comes on to acupuncture, because talking therapy is obviously about what's going on internally and with the mind, with your thoughts, etc. But I was still feeling I had some physical things going on, sensations that were, I was kind of feeling stuck physically, and I felt like I could still heal myself in a different way, quicker. And I learnt about, well, I already knew about this alternative therapy, acupuncture, and I had tried it before for psoriasis in my teens, and it didn't work. I don't think it was the right thing for this skin issue that I had, and I didn't carry on for long enough to make it work, really. But this time I found this amazing guy who was actually a teacher of acupuncture in Reading, and he was clearly very good at what he did. And the first time that I went along, we spoke for an hour or two about what I'd been through, and then we had a very short session with the needles and me lying on the bed, and he said that there were, was it 50 different qualities that you feel in a pulse, just literally by feeling here. 50 different qualities. It's like, oh my god, I never knew that about my pulse and about my blood. But I remember coming away from there feeling really floaty, not grounded at all, and I think it took about 2 days for me to come back down. And for those feelings to go away. It was really, really weird, and I thought, okay, this must really be doing something if he's made me feel like that. So I went back a week later, and we spoke a lot less. It was just kind of a roundup of the week, and then he did a lot more with needles in different parts of my body. And I still came away feeling floaty and a bit like the week before, but not as much. And he said that's because your pulse and your blood and your body, it starts stabilising more. And the more that you stabilise, the less of that feeling you get afterwards. So if you're feeling kind of alright afterwards, maybe you don't need acupuncture so much anymore, because it's done its job. So I had about 6 sessions maybe, and again, I think that was amazing healing. Not so much about talking in the mind, but healing physically. And I felt stronger in my step and in my stride and in my day-to-day life. I just had this kind of inner energy was coming back again, and I can't think that it would have been anything else but the acupuncture, and just kind of aligning my energies and what goes on internally to help me heal from the inside out. So that was fabulous. So yeah, if you want to know more about bipolar disorder and healing, or if you want to know about my original story about what it's like for the first time getting high and getting psychotic, I haven't done that one yet. So if you want to hear about that, then yeah, give me the likes, give the subscribe button a press, and you can find out more. And maybe click on the other videos that I've got popped up, and I'll see you again soon.